In December 1941, 2 British battleships were crippled inside the supposedly secure naval base at Alexandria, Egypt. The attackers were not bombers or submarines. They were 6 Italian frogmen riding torpedo-like underwater vehicles. By late 1941, the Mediterranean was one of the most important theatres of the Second World War. Control of supply routes linking Europe, Egypt and North Africa was fiercely contested by Axis and Allied forces. At the centre of this struggle stood the British Mediterranean Fleet, based at Alexandria. From there, the Royal Navy threatened Axis convoys supplying German and Italian forces in North Africa. Rather than risk its battleships in open battle, the Italian Royal Navy, the Regia Marina, turned increasingly to unconventional naval warfare. The Decima Flottiglia MAS. The roots of this strategy lay in Italy's experimental assault flotillas, particularly the Prima Flottiglia Mezze d'Assalto, which tested techniques in underwater sabotage and harbour infiltration. In March 1941, the specialised unit known as Decima Flottiglia MAS was formally established. Its principal weapon was the manned torpedo, the Siluro a lenta corsa, or SLC, nicknamed maiale, meaning pig, by its operators because of its difficult handling. The electrically powered craft was about 7 metres long and weighed roughly 1.3 to 1.4 tonnes. 2 frogmen rowed it, seated astride the hull as it moved slowly toward the target. At the objective, they detached the forward warhead section, containing about 230 to 260 kilograms of explosive, secured it beneath the ship's hull with clamps, and set a delayed fuse before withdrawing. The frogmen wore baloney rubberized diving suits and used closed-circuit oxygen rebreathers so they could operate underwater without releasing bubbles. The concept had been developed by Regia Marina officers Teseo Tesei and Elias Toshi, whose work created the technical basis for these operations. Both men died during testing and early missions in 1941, but their work laid the groundwork for a new form of naval warfare. Training and operational doctrine were later refined under Junio Valerio Borghese, who emphasized stealth, endurance, and careful coordination. Under his leadership, the unit developed into a capable commando force able to penetrate heavily defended naval bases. Planning the Alexandria Raid. By late 1941, Decima MAS prepared its most ambitious operation, an attack on the British fleet at Alexandria. The harbour was heavily defended by anti-submarine boom nets, patrol craft, coastal artillery, and minefields. The attack would be launched from Italian submarine Scirè, commanded by Borghese. The vessel had been modified to carry 3 SLC craft in external containers on its deck. On 3 December 1941, Scirè departed La Spezia. After reaching the Italian base at Liros, 6 Decima MAS operators joined the submarine. The assault teams were Luigi Duran della Penne and Emilio Bianchi, Antonio Marceglia and Spartaco Scergat, Vincenzo Martellotta and Mario Marina. Their task was to enter Alexandria harbour at night, attach explosive charges to British warships, and withdraw before the timers detonated. The Raid, night of 18-19 December 1941. Scirè released the 3 SLC craft about 1.3 miles from the entrance to Alexandria harbour. As British destroyers entered the port and the boom gates briefly opened, the Italian frogmen slipped inside the harbour under cover of darkness. Once inside, the teams separated to locate their targets. Duran della Penne and Bianchi approached the battleship HMS Valiant. Their torpedo malfunctioned, forcing them to drag the warhead manually beneath the hull. After placing the charge, they were discovered and captured. Taken aboard the battleship for questioning, Duran de la Penne refused to reveal the location of the explosive device. Shortly before the timer expired, he requested to speak with the ship's captain and warned that an explosion would soon occur beneath the ship. Meanwhile, Morceglia and Chagat successfully placed their charge beneath the battleship HMS Queen Elizabeth. The third pair, Martellotta and Marino, targeted the Norwegian tanker Sagona. The nearby destroyer HMS Jervis would also be damaged in the blast. By dawn on 19 December, the charges detonated. Both Queen Elizabeth and Valiant were severely damaged by underwater explosions and settled onto the shallow harbour floor, leaving them effectively out of action. Sagona lost its stern in the blast, while Jervis suffered damage while refuelling alongside. All 6 Italian operators were captured, but none were killed. 8 British sailors were wounded. Aftermath. Although neither battleship was permanently lost, both were rendered inoperable for months. HMS Valiant received temporary repairs at Alexandria before sailing to Durban for full restoration, returning to service in August 1942. HMS Queen Elizabeth suffered more extensive damage. After temporary repairs, she sailed via Port Sudan to the United States, where reconstruction was completed in 1943. The destroyer HMS Jervis returned to service within about a month, while the damaged tanker Sagona was eventually repaired after the war. The temporary loss of 2 battleships left the Royal Navy operating without them during a critical phase of the North African campaign, briefly easing pressure on Axis supply convoys crossing the Mediterranean. British authorities initially downplayed the damage, but reconnaissance and intelligence soon revealed the scale of the raid. The attack had disrupted British naval strength in the eastern Mediterranean. The raid on Alexandria demonstrated how a small group of frogmen, using unconventional weapons, could inflict serious damage on even heavily defended naval bases. That's all for now. See you next time.